Okay, so take some time now to settle the body. Sit in a comfortable cross-legged position if that's right for you, and ensure that the spine is straight and the head and neck are in line. Close the eyes. Place the hands on the knees in a mudra of your choice, with the palms facing up or down. And just take a few moments just to scan the awareness through the body and just take notice of how you're feeling at this moment and where you might be feeling any tension or soreness. Just bring your attention there. And we're going to begin tonight's class. Firstly, we'll do our traditional OMS to begin, and then we're going to do a short meditation before we move into some asana practices, yogic postures, and then some pranayama before moving into Yoga Nidra. And so now, ensuring that you are comfortable with your hands on the knees, and make sure that the shoulders and back are back and down, but relaxed. So you're opening up the chest. And take a long, deep inhalation now. And as you exhale, release all of the events of the day. Just let them all go. And now take another long, deep inhalation, a yogic breath. And this time, when you exhale, release all of the interactions that you've had today, whether they have been in person, on the phone, online, wherever you have interacted with anyone else or anything else. Let it all go. And again, another long, deep inhalation. And this time, when you exhale, release any thoughts or feelings of obligation of anything you need to do after this class. And just give yourself the gift of being in this moment. And give this time to yourself. There's nothing else you need to do or think about but this class right here and right now. And now bring the awareness to the eyebrow center. And at this point, visualize a steady candle flame. And together we'll chant Om 3 times, and Om Shanti. And I'll chant the Shanti mantra to pay respect to the wisdom traditions, respect between teacher and student and teacher, so we can all learn together without ill will. Breathing in. Om. 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 Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinatmadhitamastu Ma Vedvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. And stay now in your current position with the eyes closed. And bring the awareness now to the breath, the natural breath at the nostrils. And observe how the natural breath creates movement in the body and how it moves from the nostrils to the throat and then to the navel. And then notice how the breath moves from exhalation from the navel up to the throat. Just noticing the movement of the natural breath. Switching it now from navel to throat on the inhalation, and then from throat to navel on the exhalation. Moving your awareness in the opposite direction according to the inhalation and the exhalation. And now you may like to add a visualization to this pathway. So as your awareness is on the breath moving from navel to throat and throat to navel, visualize a golden pathway through which the breath is moving. Now add one further element to this meditation, along with the breath awareness and the golden pathway. Mentally repeat the following mantra. Mentally repeat the mantra so on the inhalation and hum on the exhalation. So, I am is consciousness. And you now have the three elements of Ajapa Japa meditation: the awareness in the breath, the golden pathway from throat to navel, and navel to throat, and the mantra, so hum. And now release the mantra. And next release the breath awareness and the golden pathway. And bring your awareness to the heart space. Notice the complete awareness and complete stillness. And now allow the breath to deepen just a little. Begin to make a bit more movement in the body. And allow the body to gently externalize through the deepening of the breath. And keeping the eyes closed now, still begin making small movements with the fingers and the toes, just to allow the body to gently externalize to prepare for our asana practice. And come to the base position very gently in your own time, trying to maintain the stillness that you've created. Bring the legs out in front of the body and bring the hands behind the body near the buttocks with the fingers pointing away. And just rest for a few moments in this position with the eyes closed. And we'll begin now with ankle bending. So place the awareness in the ankle joints and point the feet towards the floor on the inhalation, and then bring the feet back towards the body on the exhalation. Complete 7 rounds in total, trying to coordinate the breath with the movement, aiming to obtain that body-breath-mind connection. And then once you've completed the practice, take a few moments to observe the effects, and then bring the right foot in front of the buttocks. Clasp the hands underneath the arch of the foot, making sure that you are sitting up straight, so your head and neck are in alignment with the straight spine. And then lift the leg up on the inhalation, and then hold for wherever is comfortable. Exhale, bringing the foot down towards the floor again. Complete 7 rounds in this way. Again, inhaling on the upward movement, exhaling on the downward movement, and aiming to coordinate the breath with the body. And on your final round, bringing the foot flat on the floor again and bringing the leg out straight. And after the final round on the right leg, take a few moments again just to observe the difference between right and left, and then complete the practice on the left leg. Observing where you can feel the movement of energy in the legs in this practice. Feeling the knee joint, and aim not to press down on the knee. And after your final round on the left leg, bring the legs back down to the floor. And again, just witness any changes in the body. Now bring both feet in front of the buttocks and bring the soles of the feet together for the Asana. And allow the knees to fall towards the floor, clasping the hands around the feet. And complete 10 rounds slowly by inhaling, bringing the knees up towards the arms. Exhale, bringing the knees down towards the floor without pushing or straining. You'll notice that with each round, your body will just naturally, your hips will naturally open a bit more. And observing the opening of the hips, placing the awareness in the hip joints throughout this practice. And when you're at your final round, bring the knees together and then outstretch the legs on the floor. And very gentle with the knees. And again, just take a few seconds just to observe any impacts from that practice. We'll move now to the upper body. We'll begin with wrist bending. So bringing the arms out in front of the body at shoulder height, pointing the fingers towards the floor. I mean, not towards the floor, towards the ceiling first, like you're pushing against the wall. Exhale. Bring the hands now towards the floor, the fingers towards the floor, stretching right through the forearms. Inhale, bringing the palms up again like you're pushing against the wall. Complete 7 rounds in this way. Again, placing the awareness in the wrist joints and in the forearms and coordinating the breath with the practice. And on your 7th round, your final round, just press the arms for a few moments. And again, observe. And now we'll do elbow bending. We'll do it out from beside the body. So bringing the arms out straight at shoulder height. Inhale, bringing the fingers towards the shoulders, making sure that elbows are up. Exhale, bringing the arms out, stretching out through the fingers, through the chest. Inhale, bringing the fingers back to the shoulders. Complete 7 rounds in this way. Really stretching out through the fingers, making sure that the elbows are up. And as you reach your 7th round, if it's right for you, if you don't need a rest, move into shoulder rotations. If you do need a rest, take a rest. The shoulder rotations is the right hand on the right shoulder, left hand on the left shoulder, bringing the elbows together in front of the body. Inhaling, bringing the elbows up, back, down, behind, exhaling on the downward movement and bringing the elbows together. Again, this is 1 round. Complete 7 rounds in each direction. observing the release of muscles in the tops of the shoulders. This is very good practice if you are driving a long way or you're sitting at a desk for too long and you need a little circuit breaker. This is the perfect practice. And when you reach your final round, in your own time, release the practice and observe its effects. Closing the eyes, and again, just observing how your body is responding to these practices. We'll move now to the neck. So before we begin, please be very gentle, particularly just seeing your range of movement in the first few rounds. So be very smooth and measured in your approach to this practice. So we'll begin by first making sure the spine is straight and the head and neck are in alignment. Exhale and bring the chin firstly to the chest without pushing or straining in any way, feeling the stretch at the back of the neck. Inhale, bringing the head back to center. Exhale, bringing the head back to where is comfortable for you. Feeling the stretch in the throat. Inhale, back to center. Complete another 6 rounds in this way. Being very smooth in your movement, this practice. This is another great one if you are sitting in the same spot for a long time. And once you reach your final round, bring the head back to the center and just close the eyes and just take a few moments just witnessing, observing. Now move on to your hands and knees. So to prepare for Asana, the cat posture. So ensuring that the hands are directly below the shoulders and the knees are directly below the hips. So your body should be in sort of a box shape and the head is in a neutral position. Inhale, bring the head up towards the ceiling and arch the abdomen down towards the floor. Also pressing through the arms to increase the stretch slightly. Exhale, bring the head down in between the arms and arch the spine up towards the ceiling. This is one round. Complete another 6 rounds in this way. Again, smooth and fluid movements, synchronizing the breath with the practice and observing the different effects in the body, the different parts of the body from this practice. Once you've reached your final round in your own time, come back into child's pose, Shavasana. Bringing the buttocks to the feet and placing the forehead on the floor. Shashanasana. Bringing the buttocks back to the heels and the forehead on the floor with the arms stretched out in front of the body. And just allow yourself to sink into the position. Release into the floor. And then when it's right for you, very gently stand on the soles of your feet with the body still hanging over the top half hanging over the bottom half of the body. And you may like to bring your arms behind the knees and grasp each hand on the opposite elbow. And just allow the body to hang in this position. And then when it's right for you, gently roll up vertebrae by vertebrae to a standing position. We'll now do a practice called Asana. So bringing the feet, start hip width apart, and then making sure the shoulders are back and down. Clasp the hands together behind the body. So may like to actually make your feet a bit wider than hip width. And then firstly, bringing the body in parallel with the floor. And then bringing the head down in between the legs. And then with the clasped hands, bring them off the back and then stretch. Not without straining in any way, but just allowing the head to move further in towards the floor. And allow the arms to move off the back where is comfortable for you. And hold for 3 breaths. And then release the arms. And then bring the torso and the head back to a standing position. Complete another 3 rounds in this way. And on your final round, just come back to a standing Shavasana. And again, observing not only the body's response, but also the mind. If this is a new practice for you, just observe the thoughts that come from a new practice. So in your final round, come back to just a standing Shavasana, arms hanging loose by the sides, making sure that you're standing up straight, but you're comfortable. The weight's evenly distributed on both feet. And again, just observe the movement of energy around the body. Our next practice is the combination of a spinal twist and a practice called Trikonasana. So firstly, bring the feet as wide apart as is comfortable for you. Just move the camera down so you can see what I'm doing. Won't let me. Yeah, well, hopefully. What you need to do is, with the arms out straight, firstly, bend down so that your body is parallel with the floor. Arms out straight. Then bring the right arm in between the legs on the floor, with the other arm up straight, and then gaze up at the left arm. So it's like a line between the arms. Then come back to center. And then do it with the opposite arm. Left in the center, right up, looking up at the right arm. So complete another 4 rounds in this way. And another sort of increased version of this practice is to, when you bend down, is to actually grab the opposite foot or ankle or inside of the leg with the right arm. So grabbing the left leg, pointing up, back to center, and then the left arm on the inside of the right foot. And when you finish, come back up to standing and drop the arms and back to standing Shavasana. Remembering to breathe throughout the practice. And again, just observing the thoughts that come with something that may be unfamiliar or something you haven't done in a while, as well as what's happening in the body. And now, once you've completed the practice, bring the feet together. Find a point on the wall that's not going to move. We're going to practice Tadasana, a palm tree pose, where you'll be balancing on the front of the feet. So find a point on the wall, then making sure you're standing up straight. Clasp the hands in front of the body with the palms facing down. Inhale, bring the arms above the head, fixing your gaze on that point on the wall. Come up to the front of the feet, stretching up through the body like a stretching rubber band. Then exhale, bring the feet, the heels back to the floor, and then the arms to the top of the head like so. Complete another 4 rounds in this way and try to hold on to the final round for a bit longer than the others. And when you've completed your final round, come again back into standing Shavasana, closing the eyes, and again just observing. And begin to steady yourself as we prepare for a balancing posture. So I will demonstrate. So firstly, again, finding that point on the wall, it helps to focus your attention. With the right leg, clasp the foot with the right hand, making sure that the knee of the bent leg is in line with the other leg. Just balancing for a few moments. When you feel steady, then move the arm up like so and lean forward. Hold and then tilt the body back up, release the arm, and then the foot to the floor. So complete 2 rounds on each side. Aiming to hold for as long as you can. And as this is a relatively new practice for this class, it's just a practice to explore. And you'll find some days you can hold it longer than others, and that's okay. And when you've finished on both legs, come down into a comfortable sitting position. There's no rush, so take your time. And closing the eyes, ensuring the spine is straight and the chest is open. We'll prepare for the practice of pranayama. But first, just observe the natural breath at the nostrils. Allow the breath to regulate. And observe how the natural breath fills the abdomen with air and then the chest with air. And on the exhalation, the chest subsides and the abdomen subsides. We'll now begin the practice of Nadi Shodhana. So bringing the right hand to the face, placing the first and the middle finger at the eyebrow center. Covering the right nostril with the thumb, inhale through the left nostril to the eyebrow center. Cover the left nostril with the ring finger. Uncover the right nostril. Exhale out of the right nostril. And then inhaling through the right nostril to the eyebrow center. Cover the right nostril with the thumb. Uncover the left nostril. Exhaling from the left nostril. And then again inhaling from the left nostril to the eyebrow center, and so on. Ensuring you're breathing not just up into the chest, but also into the abdomen. Comfortable breaths. Smooth flowing breaths. And we'll be doing this practice for a couple of minutes. Now, when you next exhale through the left nostril, release the hand, keep the eyes closed, and just observe the breath with both nostrils to the eyebrow center. Now, very gently and consciously, lie down on the floor in Shavasana to prepare for Yoga Nidra. And ensure that you will be comfortable and warm or cool, depending on the climate where you're watching from, so that you don't need to move throughout the practice. Lying down in Shavasana with the palms a little away from the body and facing the sky, and the legs about hip width apart, with all tension released in the legs and the feet, so the legs roll to the sides, and ensuring that there's balance between the left side of the body and the right side of the body, and that the head and neck are aligned. You may like to tuck your chin in just a little, just to check. Take a long deep inhalation, a long yogic breath, and as you exhale, allow your body to release into the floor. And check now that there isn't any tension being held in the body, particularly in the face. Release the jaw. Allow any expression to fall away. And ensure you're not clenching the muscles behind the eyes. Take a long, deep inhalation again. And this time release any expressions and any remaining tension. Let it all go. And observe now the different points of contact between the body and the floor. Bring your awareness to the heels against the floor, and now the backs of the legs against the floor. Observe the buttocks against the floor, the back against the floor. Feel the arms against the floor, and the spine, each vertebrae against the floor. Feel the neck and the head against the floor. And observe how all of these different points of contact merge to create one singular point of contact between the body and the floor. Become aware now of sounds, particularly sounds off in the distance. And move your awareness from sound to sound. Don't try to identify the sound in any way. Once the sound is noticed, move on to the next one. It's moving the awareness from sound to sound. And move the awareness now to sounds just outside the room you're in, just in the same way, moving the awareness from sound to sound. Move the awareness now to sounds inside the room that you're in. Again, just moving the awareness from sound to sound. Now move the awareness, the sounds inside the body, beginning with the sound and the sensation of your heartbeat. Now bring the awareness to the sound and sensation of the natural breath. Release the sound awareness now, and instead call to mind your Sankalpa, or positive affirmation if you have one. Mentally repeat it 3 times now, and if you don't have one, leave some space because it can emerge on its own. And now listen to my instructions as we rotate the awareness throughout the body. When I name a body part, place your awareness there, visualize that part, and mentally repeat the name of that part. I'll begin with the right side of the body and the right hand thumb. The first finger, second, third, and little finger, palm of the right hand, back of the right hand, the wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, the shoulder, the armpit, the right side of the chest, the waist, hip, thigh, knee, shin, calf, ankle, heel, sole of the right foot, top of the right foot, right big toe, second toe, third, fourth, and little toe. And right now we'll move over to the left side of the body with the left hand thumb, first finger, second, third, and little finger, palm of the left hand, back of the left hand, the wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, armpit, side of the chest, left waist, hip, thigh, left knee, shin, calf, ankle, heel, sole of the left foot, top of the left foot, left big toe, second toe, third, fourth, and little toe. And now to the back of the body with the heels, backs of the legs, the buttocks, the small of the back, the middle of the back, the shoulder blades, the space between the shoulder blades, and the entire spinal column, back of the neck and the back of the head, and the crown of the head. Moving around now to the face with the forehead, the temples, right and left, the eyebrows, right and left, and the eyebrow center, the eyes, right and left, the nose, the cheeks, right and left, the jaw, the lips, the chin, the throat, the collarbones, right and left, and the pit of the throat, the right side of the chest, the left side of the chest, and the center of the chest, the right side of the abdomen, the left side of the abdomen, and the navel, the right side of the pelvis, the left side of the pelvis, and the groin, the whole right leg, the whole left leg, and now both legs together, the whole right arm, and the whole left arm, and both arms together, the whole torso, the whole head, the whole front of the body, the whole back of the body, and now the whole body. Have a sense of the whole body all at once, the whole body. And release the body rotations now. Bring the awareness back to the natural breath. The natural breath now, so subtle. And observe the rise and fall at the navel in response to the natural breath. We'll now add a visualization to the breath, to the natural breath. On the inhalation, breathing in, healing, golden light. On the exhalation, releasing anything that does not serve you. Healing light on the inhalation, releasing anything that does not serve you on the exhalation. And if the mind begins to wander, use the breath like an anchor and bring it back to the practice. And now release the breath visualization and instead feel the following opposite sensations in the body. The body is feeling hotter and hotter. The body feels like it's standing in front of a roaring bonfire. The cheeks on the face feel hotter. The hands and the feet feel hotter. Heat radiates from the abdomen throughout the body. The body is feeling hotter and hotter, like it's standing in front of a roaring bonfire. And release this feeling of heat now and replace it instead with a feeling of coolness. The body's feeling colder and colder. The body feels as though it's standing outside in the snow. The face feels colder and numb. The cheeks feel numb. The nose feels numb. And the hands feel so cold that it's hard to grasp anything. They don't work properly because they're so cold. The body's feeling colder and colder, as though it's outside in the snow on an icy winter's day. And release this feeling of coldness now. And instead, replace it with a feeling of lightness. The body's feeling lighter and lighter. The body feels as though it's drifting along the sky like a cloud. The arms feel lighter and the legs feel lighter. The head and the torso feels lighter. The body feels lighter and lighter, as though it's drifting along the sky. Release this feeling of lightness now, and instead replace it with a feeling of heaviness. The body's feeling heavier and heavier. The body feels as though it's made out of lead and it's pushing against the floor. It's pressing against the floor. It's so heavy. The legs and the arms feel heavier, and the torso and the head feels heavier. The body's feeling heavier and heavier. It feels so heavy, like it's made out of lead, and it's pushing against the floor. And release this feeling of heaviness now. Allow the body to come back to a state of equilibrium. Release all of these sensations completely, and instead come to the space of the mind, the space behind the closed eyes. And in this space, see, imagine, visualize and create the following objects and images. You are standing on a beach. It's just before sunrise. The light is starting to crack through the sky. You're the only one there, and you feel the warmth of the sand beneath your feet, and you hear the birds beginning to chirp in the trees behind you. And you walk up to the water, and you notice that the sand right up near where the shore is, where the waves are gently lapping against it, it looks glassy, and you can see the reflection of the clouds on the glassy sand beneath your feet. And you notice that the sky above, being reflected in the sand, is starting to turn a beautiful red. You feel surrounded by this warmth and beauty coming from the sky and also coming up from your feet. You decide to lie down on the sand to watch the morning sky as it begins to awaken. And as you see the clouds begin to change in all the different shades of red and orange as the sun is beginning to rise, you also notice that a rainbow is starting to appear in the sky above you. And There are gentle raindrops beginning to fall. They fall around you, but one doesn't actually land on you until finally one splash of a raindrop lands right on your eyebrow center. And you feel cleansed and you feel joyful at this beautiful experience that you're having. But you know that it's time to head back into the room, back to your mat. And you are now back on your mat. And you bring to mind your Sankalpa, or positive intention if you have one. Gently and mentally repeat it 3 times now. And if you don't have one, just leave some space. And begin to observe the breath again and notice how the breath is creating movement in the body. Allow the breath to deepen slightly and feel it as it moves the back against the floor. And observe how you're feeling right at this moment compared to when you began the class. And begin to remember the room that you were in and the details of that room. The practice of Yoga Nidra is coming to a close. Remember the clothing that you're wearing and the color of your mat. And remember the time of day. And begin to make small movements with the fingers and the toes, gently allowing the body to externalize. Gently allowing the body to externalize. And begin to move and stretch in a way that's right for you. You may like to gently move the head from side to side. And when you're ready, roll onto the right side for a few moments. And then when it's right for you, come up to a comfortable sitting position, keeping the eyes closed or downcast, trying to maintain the peaceful state that you've created. And just allowing the body to regulate after lying down. And gently move the awareness through the body, beginning with the soles of the feet, observing how your body is feeling. Bringing the awareness up through the ankles, up through the shins and the calves and into the knees, up into the thighs and the buttocks, and then up through the torso and the back, observing each vertebrae on the way up, into the neck, now into the head, and bringing the awareness now to the eyebrow center. Visualize a steady candle flame. And together we'll chant Om 3 times and Om Shanti to conclude the practice. Breathing in. Om. 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 Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om. Hari Om Tat Sat.